Hello and welcome. It is Tuesday, the 23rd of May, 2023, and this is my last vlog of this month. It also marks the 230th birthday of Deutschen Wild. Now, you don't know who she is, but she married Wilhelm Grimm of Grimm Fairy Tales fame, and she is the source of over 25% of the stories, but she never got the credit. So this is my way of saying, let's raise a glass to Dortchenwald, as she deserves some sort of appreciation credit. So raise a glass and forget not Dortchenwald. Well, thank you for listening. If you're enjoying my vlogs, please encourage others to subscribe and share. Lots of you have come to me with all sorts of messages, but I've chosen two topics this time round. Now, here in the UK, there's been a major issue with water companies. They've been pumping raw sewage into our rivers and into the sea, causing an environmental and health hazard and crisis in some people's cases. Now, there has been a public apology by the companies, and they're saying they're going to do what they can to put things right, but the public are going to have to pay. But it has also been noted that the shareholders of these companies have received billions of pounds worth in dividends, and so there's a bit of a hoo-ha, shall we say. And what do we do about it? Because also the British public have found that all the water companies are owned by other countries. They're not British. So, what do we do? Well, there's been an outcry for the water system to be nationalised. And I would go along with that. But the government says it would be too expensive to do that. Well, my suggestion is requisition. We should requisition these companies. After all, they have failed to do the job that they have been paid for. And for those who say you can't do that, well, I'll just say during war, buildings and land and materials were requisitioned by the War Office all over the place. So the precedent is there. And there have been some marvellous examples in shows like Foyle's War and Brideshead Revisited. So the principle is there and it can be done. I mean, requisition them and then hand them back once the water systems have been sorted out. But before doing that, I would argue that the government of the day has to sort of publish a business plan of some sort of how they're going to deal with the waterworks, and a business plan. Now, that's a phrase I've used. Now, those of my generation will understand totally what a business plan is. When I first became self-employed in 1984, when applying for business grants and loans, I had to put forward a 5-year business plan that was fully detailed and costed, and that there was a proper development strategy. And it could be argued that this sort of thing is missing in the current political climate. But moving on. The next topic that people have been talking to me about is there's clearly lots of noises about natural disasters. Two in particular, volcanic activity and tsunamis. Well, what can I say? It appears, we're looking at documentaries and reading articles, that volcanic activity around the world has increased in the last 5 years, leading to the speculation that there will be a worldwide issue, to put it mildly. Yellowstone Park in America is a supervolcano, and it's currently dormant, but recent data indicates that an eruption of some kind is due. Now, they don't say how large the eruption would be, which in itself is a little worrying, but there is talk that it could happen around 2030, which of course is only 7 years away. And talking of seven, there are 7 islands In the Canaries, there are 7 Canary Islands, to put it another way. And of course, the most popular are Tenerife, Gran Canaria, and Lanzarote. But we mustn't forget La Palma, because La Palma is a volcanic island. And geologists tell us that La Palma is at risk of having a large landslide, which will lead to a huge tsunami, which will wipe out the south coast of Britain, the north coast of Europe, and the east coast of America. Now, what will happen then if this happens? Well, I think the world would have to get together and help each other. Well, thank you for listening. Until the next time, toodle pip.